Welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is at the request of subscriber Undyne, who has me playing Mardu Welder, which is a pretty sick deck. This is based off of a 5.0 list that was linked to me, and this is just another shell that's trying to push Urza Saga to see what this thing's capable of. Urza Saga, obviously well established in Legacy at this point, very cool card, very powerful card, and different decks are using it in different ways. Some it just like plugs into an existing value engine. Some decks exist entirely because of it. And Welder, or Painter, is one of the decks that I think was on everyone's early radar for a deck that might want Urza Saga. So this deck, it's a Painter Servant deck. And if you're not familiar with this combo, Painter Servant turns everything into the same color in all zones. And Grindstone is target player mills 2 cards. If those cards share a color, repeat the process. So Painter plus Grindstone is a 6 mana combo that wins the game. And you can pay the mana in installments. Like you can turn 1 Grindstone, turn 2 Painter, turn 3 activate Grindstone, GG. You can also accelerate with City of Traders, Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal. You can make this happen pretty quickly a lot of the time. And this deck also grinds really well because Goblin Welder, choose an artifact target player controls and target artifact players in their graveyard, then switch them. Basically, that's the TLDR of what that card does. You can switch cards in play with cards in the graveyard as long as they're both artifacts, and that gives you a lot of redundancy and agency and like protection against removal for your Grindstone, protection against removal for Painter, and Welder is just really great. Goblin Engineer is a Welder variant from Modern Horizons 1. When this enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card, put it into the graveyard, and then red, tap, sack an artifact, return target artifact with a converted mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is a little different than Welder. It comes with an Entomb attached to it, but it can't quite weld things as well as Welder does. So, but together, we're doing all 8 of them here. So this is a pretty powerful tutor package. Then Wishclaw Talisman is in this deck. That is a pretty powerful card with Karn the Great Creator, because you can like wish for Karn, cast Karn, and then they can't activate the Wishclaw Talisman you just gave them because Karn says your opponent can't activate artifacts. So that's a cool thing. Also in a deck full of win the game combos, Wishclaw Talisman is not that risky because you get the card that kills them and it doesn't matter that they just got your Wishclaw Talisman. So pretty cool. And also Auriok Salvagers is in this deck as a fun of one of. With Lion's Eye Diamond, Auriok Salvager makes infinite mana. Salvager is 1 and a white. Return target artifact card mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Lion's Eye Diamond is a artifact with mana value 1 or less, and it sacks for 3 white. So you can just make 1 white mana each time you loop this. And then once you have infinite white in your pool, you can start making other colors. And then you should be able to figure out how to win the game somehow. Like Salvagers can once you have infinite mana, Salvagers can like pick up Chromatic Star and just pop it enough times so you can draw your deck and then grind them out. So there's a fun of one of Auriok Salvagers in the deck for combo potential. And of course, looping back to the start, Urza Saga. This can get the Grindstone if you have the Painter. It can get any of these other tools if you don't. It can just draw a card with Mishra's Bauble, get the Lion's Eye Diamond to go with the Salvagers. Like, this is a very, very sleek Urza Saga deck. Like, beating down with artifacts won't take long because you have a lot of them naturally, and tutoring up your combo, they have to respect both things. And the whole time, Karn the Great Creator is looming to just lock them out with Mycosynth Lattice, and of course Karn can get the Painter, or the Grindstone, or any other of these tools from the sideboard to finish the A and B combo. It has all the A's and all the B's in the sideboard. This deck's pretty dope. I love Welder decks. I'm excited to try this, so let's go do it. I'm on the draw in round number 1. I've revealed my companion Gigantha, so there that is. I have to mulligan this hand. This deck is full of fast mana, and this has none at all. This mana is not particularly fast. I'm determining if I can keep this. I think it might be okay on the draw. Yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to get rid of one of the Welders. I think I want Karn as just like GG banger potential. Alright, we got basic Swamp Dark Ritual. Great. Dauthi Voidwalker. Alright. So that makes Chromatic Star pretty bad. Oh Jesus, I'm going to get Karned on turn 2. So can I beat this, I guess is the question. Like, they Thoughtseize me, they take my Karn. Next turn, they can cast Karn off Thoughtseize Voidwalker. And then I'm locked out by my own Karn. This is actually pretty devastating. I can't grindstone them out. I can't really beat a Karn. Alright, I'm just going to concede to this. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. Yeah, that was a rough start. Should have bottomed the Karn to the mulligan. Wow. Okay, so they're doing that. Galvanic Blast can kill Thoughtseize Voidwalker. That sounds important. I suspect there's some sort of 2-card Monty or Curses deck, so Wear Tear will be good. The rest of these cards don't really matter. And Pyroblast is in the deck because it's good against blue decks incidentally. And then when you paint things, you can name blue and then just start shooting stuff. But I don't think that's going to be part of my plan here. Pirate Spellbomb can kill a Voidwalker, that's good. Needle can name Voidwalker, so then it's just a 3/2 Void Leyline of the Void and not a Mind's Desire or whatever. Alright, so I think I don't think I'm gonna need a lock combat out of this thing, and I don't want to draw Crucible of Worlds against the deck with Thoughtseize Voidwalker just in it. So let's do this. This is all the removal that I have. I guess the one variation is, do I want to go deep on Pyroblast and just try to nug them with Painter? Or do I want to, maybe against the Leyland of the Void deck, the known Leyland of the Void deck, I don't want Auriok Salvagers. Goblin Engineer gets a little worse. Yeah, I think I do actually want all these answers in the deck. I'm a little worried about Chalice of the Void on 1. I have Karn that can remove that, but this deck is pretty soft to it otherwise. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna go like pretty far off of graveyard stuff, or at least hedge really far against it and have every single answer to a Voidwalker or Leyline that I play in the deck. Okay, that's my plan. This opening hand, what does it do? I have turn 1 Painter Servant. I have turn 1 Painter Servant and Grindstone past the turn. Yeah, we're keeping this. Oh wait, no, this is just a turn 1 win, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. I cast Painter, Opal, LED. Yeah, they're dead. Okay. Do this shit. Painter. Paint everything blue. Opal. LED. Grindstone. Grind you. Alright, we've exchanged turn 1 victories. What a banger this has been. Alright, game 3. No more secrets. We both know what the other is doing. I have my answers to Voidwalker in, and I'm just going back in with this same stuff. Yeah, sometimes you just make 6 mana on turn 1 and kill your opponent. That's good stuff. I think I can keep this hand. I think this is a turn 1 Saga, turn 2 City of Traders, do some stuff hand. Grief. Oh, they're the full like Grief Ephemerate Modern deck. That's cool. This is going to beat my hand up a bit, but they can't take Saga, which is the important card. They took my Chromatic Star. That's pretty smart. That is actually a card that I care about. That turns on all the red in my hand. Do they take Grindstone with the other one? I think they do, because I could go Saga, cast Grindstone, and that's my best starting play. Yeah, they took the stone. That makes sense. They took my 1-drops, making Saga a lot worse. That doesn't actually help me right now. So here's Saga. Can't make any plays with it. So the Grief Flicker thing looks really cool on the surface, but it's mostly just a 3/3. Like, if they can follow up and really start punishing me, then it's a really good 3/3. Like, it's a lot of control over what happens on the first 2 or 3 turns of the game. But if they can't get this game over in the meantime, I will just eventually answer this 4/3 and then, or it win around it, and then we're good. Okay, so they're gonna name Urza Saga with that, and that's pretty brutal. Alright, yeah, they're down to 1 card in hand, but I mean, they're in a pretty good spot. So I'd like to draw a land that isn't City of Traders right now. Like a red land would be great. Okay. That's actually great too. So I get to play Chromatic Star, City of Traders, sack this for red, get to draw a card, and cast Goblin Engineer. Then I get to entomb something good. If I put Painter in the graveyard, then I have Painter and Grindstone in the graveyard, and it's only a matter of time. I think I like that. Sounds good to me. And I guess I should run this Opal out because they have discard in their deck. Voidwalker, bummer. That's pretty good. Alright, but they are Hellbent, though I'm on a pretty short clock here. So I draw for turn, float with Saga because I can't do anything else with it. I think I want Pyrite Spellbomb. So if I take Pyrite Spellbomb, though, I mean, Opal's not going to help me anyway. So, yeah, I need to remove these creatures. I'll get Pyrite Spellbomb. Then I'll play Pithing Needle and see if they want to respond with their Bloodstained Mire. Okay, they didn't. Interesting. I'll just name it. Wait, how many of these are in my deck? That's an important thing to know before I make any decisions. There is only one in my deck. So this could get me, but I think it's worth doing. Alright, so there's Bloodstained Mire. And then I can zap the Voidwalker. I lose my red mana again, which I don't love, but I don't have another play right now. I'm just going to attack for one. Jesus. Okay. Alright, well, running out of time here very quickly. Yeah, I mean, this shuts down graveyard stuff. I don't have a red mana anyway. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm at 1. Yeah, I can't bring this together in one turn. So, like, if I draw Lion's Eye Diamond, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. And I can't even loop stuff because of Voidwalker. I guess I'll give it one turn. There might be something I'm not thinking about, but yeah, drawing the hate card that is also cuts the clock in half was not what I wanted them to do from Hellbent. And I'm at 1. The perfect justice. I can't activate this because I'm at 1 and because I turned it off with my own needle. Alright, weird match. Didn't quite get there. Explosive stuff all around. Next round. I'm on the play in the second round with kind of a wild one here. Like, I could cast Gigantha on turn 2 if nothing else comes together, but I am keeping this Welder hand. So, oh, whoops. I think I was supposed to play Ancient Tomb, Chromatic Star. Is it? It's not too late. I can still do all those things. Alright. So I think I want my basic land, or do I want them to wasteland this? No, I'll get the basic. Then I'll play Welder. And then I'll just play the rest of my hand. Diamond, Diamond, Opal, and Opal gets to cast Chromatic Star. Okay, here's my entire hand. Go. Can't quite cast Gigantha right now, but it's close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I had skipped Welder and just put... I could have cast turn 1 Gigantha. Wow, that sucks. Right in the main deck, huh? Hydroblast. I'm out of here. Okay, so let's draw something good. Got an extra draw sitting in play with the Chromatic Star. Painter's Servant. Okay, I like that card. What do I want to do here? I'm not ready to commit to Gigantha. So I can just, like, draw a card, make black. I have more... Like, I have red. I guess I should have just made red. Does this even matter? It's unclear to me. Alright, that was a good draw. Here's Karn. Does it resolve? Nope. No chance. Force pitching Uro. Alright, that was probably the right call. I had Lattice this turn, if they didn't force that. Like, the 2 LEDs make 6. You can float 6, wish for Lattice, jam it. Some sort of bug strategy. Hydroblast main. Uro was in exile. So, Grim Monolith, I'll put that into play. I'm also gonna cast the Painter. And I actually don't want to paint things blue. I think I want to paint them white. I'm just picking a random color, basically, because they have Force of Will in their deck and I don't. And painting things blue gives them extra cards to pitch to Force of Will. And I'm not a full dedicated mono red painter deck that just has a bunch of Pyroblasts in the main. I have one, but they are a blue deck anyway, so I might still have a target. Feed the Swarm. Wow. Alright, my opponent's pretty deep in the weeds here with crazy answers. Main deck. Hydroblast and shit. Okay, what can I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think it's time for Gigantha. I'll just put my 5/5 into play. So, red, red, red. I just have to make sure that I can cast this creature on the other end. I think tapping Grim Monolith is better than sacking an LED here. Alright, here's Gigantha. Let's see if she is gigantic enough to defeat my opponent. Uh-oh, Sedgemoor Witch. That's pretty good. Pretty good at chumping a 5/5. Here I come, attacking. Alright, they took 5. I expected as much. If they can just like cast any spell, these 1/1 pests will make Gigantha irrelevant forever. So attack. Gigantha. Oh yeah, we're getting in. Knocking it down. I think I want to play Grindstone. It kind of gives them a good target for Abrupt Decay. Also lets them counterspell, but if their hand is Flusterstorms, it doesn't matter, because this is not something that you can fluster. Uh-oh. Snapcaster Mage. Oh, they could Hydroblast Gigantha. Why didn't they just do that before they took 5? Weird. I guess it just doesn't matter is the answer. Because they can take over this game whenever they want. Okay, Gigantha's dead. Gotta draw a Painter Servant before I lose now. 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 power in play, so I have 2 attacks. Figure this out. The main deck Hydroblast is insane. And it's smart in this metagame. It just sucks that I just happen to be a red deck, even though I'm nowhere near the metagame. Painter. Well, that's not Painter. Alright, I'll play my Grim Monolith. Pass the turn. If they have any spell, if they can just like Abrupt Decay anything in the end step, or just Brainstorm in the end step, I'm dead on board. Alright, they're tapping mana. That also kills me. Good to know about Endurance, though. Wow, this deck is scary for me, though. Like, they have Endurance, Hydroblast, Snapcaster Mage, all this shit. I'm gonna have to dumpster them fast, I think is how I'm gonna have to win this game. So I could bring in Plague Engineer and keep the Witch under control, but I don't think that's what this is really for. I think I want my Pyroblast in. Ensnaring Bridge in the sideboard seems like the right place for it. And Nile Spellbomb did see reasons to do that. Didn't really see any reason to have Pithing Needle in the deck. Okay, I mean, that looks good enough to me. Oh, this deck might have Collector Oof in it. Alright, I'll give that some respect. And you never want to draw 2 Opals in a grindy matchup, so I can go a little thinner on that. I don't want to go down to like 1 or 2, which is something I do a lot in Opal decks, because this particular Opal deck is so explosive that the fast mana matters so much. Okay, this is my deck. I cut the Bridge and the Crucible. I can Karn for them if the game gets that grindy. I guess like Karn would win anyway. But I feel like Urza Saga is going to be an important part of winning this game. Get another Saga start. I'm going to keep this. So I can Saga Star. And then start making constructs on 2. To see if we can get over the finish line. Saga, Star. Alright, they do have Wasteland in their deck. Good to know. Luckily my hand wasn't super reliant on it this time. Okay, so I'm going to Engineer and tutor for Lion's Eye Diamond because I'm holding the Salvagers already. So I can Engineer, Entomb a Lion's Eye Diamond, and pass a turn. I guess it's going to be tough to get white mana to start the combo. I guess red mana becomes white mana, but alright, that's gone now. Starting to get dicey. Oh, hey. I don't think that sneaking Monolith in between matters. Like, I don't think they're a Daze deck. Force pitching Snapcaster. That's fine. Like, Karn was the bait spell. I'm looking for Salvagers here to do the work. Land go out of them. Alright, let's do this again. Karn. So, I'm going to wish for another Lion's Eye Diamond, I think. So if I get LED, that sets up the salvagers for next turn. The rest of these things are pretty far away, so I'm going to get the diamond. And I'm going to play around Abrupt Decay. Like, I could play around Discard or Abrupt Decay here, and I'm going to play around Abrupt Decay. If they like Assassin's Trophy Karn, that's fine. He did his job. I also have a 2-turn line on Lattice here. Well, that's a little bit scary. Okay, Saga's a good one. It gives me something else to do if the rest of this plan fails. So, I want to Grim Monolith, Chromatic Star, 1, 2, 3, white mana, another star. Is that good? Does it do anything? Doesn't matter. Lion's Eye Diamond. Salvagers, let's go. Did we get there? I have infinite mana right now and can draw unlimited cards. I still have my Karn activation if the rest of this fails. So I am at 6 life, which is not very much, I gotta say. A Graveyard Hate messes me up pretty good here. Actually, it doesn't. With my 1 extra floating mana, I can rebuy the other LED in response. So I'm actually like accidentally perfectly insulated against Graveyard Hate right now. Endurance. Okay. Like I just said, we're good there. So Salvagers is in. And then make white, white, white. Rebuy Lion's Eye Diamond. I have another star there. Okay, so I'm gonna click through this for a while. I'll edit out the clicking, but let's see if they have any disruption for me. But with 2 extra white, like if they try to exile, I can respond by just picking it up again. So this is going to be pretty tough to disrupt. I have enough mana at this point that I can wish for Lattice, cast it, see if it works, and then determine if I need to keep doing stuff. So here's Lattice. Alright, they've scooped up to that. Yeah, I could have made like zillions of mana, started drawing cards. In real life, you can just declare the loop. Like, I have infinite mana, I'll start drawing cards, I'll burn you out with Pyrite Spellbomb. Like, this is actually already a win con. Like, Pyrite Spellbomb, LED, Salvagers is GG, but it would just take forever on Moto, so I just got Lattice to save some time. Alright, begin sideboarding. I don't think anything changes with my sideboard here. I just gotta respect Endurance, basically, is like a giant blowout point. I'm gonna try to avoid. My hand here is pretty explosive. I'm gonna keep it. Got that fun of one of Salvagers again. It already paid off just having one of those in the deck. That's how I won last game, and here it is again. So, Bayou Go. This is not Hydroblast. It could be Fatal Push. So, to play around Fatal Push, I want to lead on Saga. I can still do stuff for 1 mana here. And do I want to sit on this Opal? I think so. I think I want to hide what I'm capable of. I haven't really seen discard out of them yet, and they just passed the turn with black mana up, which they would have just cast a discard spell if they had one. Okay, so there's that. Bang, bang, bang. Now I have the entire Salvagers combo in my hand too. And I'm actually just gonna pass here and start making constructs. Like if I crack Chromatic Star, then I'm just down material on board. Ooh, Feed the Swarm. That's cool tech against Saga. That explains why that's in their deck. Alright. So they destroy that, they lose 0 life because it costs 0. That's pretty sick tech, actually. But I already got a 4/4 out of it, so whatever. And it's going to be much bigger than that by the time it attacks. Oh, here we go. And Chromatic Star. In for 7. Attack for 7. They have a Fatal Push here. That is the card we played around on turn 1, if you recall. Yep, the read was right. Alright, so they have 2 cards left. They don't quite have 4 mana to put Salvagers into play, but I can play Welder and bobble them, and I can go off next turn. I'm going to bobble them in their upkeep. This will get punished by Leovold, but it plays around discard. I guess I'm already holding the card I'd care about getting discarded. Okay, I think that we win here. Like, one card is Sylvan Library. They have 1 black available. What could it even do? Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna play Arid Mesa, because that can get all of my colors as necessary, and boom, Salvagers. I can draw my deck with Chromatic Star, and they're dead. I just need to click through it in 15 minutes. That's plenty of time, by the way. Okay, they graciously just conceded. They know that I got this. Alright, Salvagers, fun of one of, taking that entire match on its own. Next round. On the draw, in round number 3, I have a turn 2 Karn, and a turn 3 Karn. And I have options here, depending on how my draw steps go, to curve Engineer up into Karn and test their answers. I'm going to keep this. It's pretty soft against Wasteland, and it's pretty soft against any deck that can clock me. So I just have to hope they're not playing Delver. Alright, Once Upon a Time. Are we just getting gacked into the sun? Oh, this looks like Elves. So they showed me Gaia's Cradle, and they played Allosaurus Chef. Alright, so the race is on, I guess. Let's see, what does Karn actually do? Like, Karn latticing them doesn't matter if they're going to have a pile of creatures. Meekstone doesn't really matter. I still think just trying to ramp up into Karn is the line here. Like, they're going to do something busto, and I'm not going to be able to beat their board either. So I better beat their... just combo them out. Elvish Visionary. Not bad for a turn 2. At least we're not dead. So, Karn. Does Karn do anything here for me? I'm just trying to decide if I should Karn plus, Karn minus, or just like play Goblin Engineer. And maybe I should play Engineer and tutor. Yeah, okay. That actually I think does hold up. I'm going to play Engineer and tutor, I think, Ensnaring Bridge into the bin. Or maybe it's Pyrite Spellbomb. No, I don't think I want to settle into a grind fest against them. What happens if I get Lion's Eye Diamond? So I can play Karn next turn and weld Opal into Lion's Eye Diamond. And I have 4 mana after I Karn, which does what? I could also put Painter in the graveyard and Karn, wish for Grindstone. Try to set up a multi-turn line there. This is tricky. I'm going to go for Painter, though. Interesting. Alright. Thrilling, exciting magic here. I'm still not playing out my Opal. They're not going to have discard in the main deck, and I don't really want them to know how much time they have. But I probably don't have much time right now either. They know they just could assert themselves here. Oh wait, Grafdigger's Cage is in my sideboard, isn't it? Okay, so that's a good one. I can Karn, wish for Grafdigger's Cage. Does Cage... Okay. Sacrifice Cage, return Painter. That does work. The Cage doesn't lock Painter out because if I sack Cage, it's gone before the Painter cares. So if I get another turn, which doesn't seem necessarily likely here. And now Cage doesn't even help. Alright, too late. Yeah, this Opal couldn't turn on, or I could have gotten Cage this turn. Now we're just getting elfed. If I draw a Grindstone, what happens? I have 5 mana. Spend 1 to turn Painter. Yeah, if I draw Grindstone off the top, I have exactly enough to mill them out. Right, there's Natural Order. Seems a little early. So 9 plus 4, 13. Yeah, they could put me to 4. Oh, okay. They could also just name Artifact for that. That's good. It's really good. Shit. Well, should have played Mox Opal, I guess. Now what happens? Karn can wish for stuff, but it doesn't matter because I can't cast it. Guess I better start Sagaing. Jeez. That sucks. Okay. Urza Saga's in play. Maybe I'm supposed to just play Karn anyway. Just let it die. That would absorb 5 damage from the Archon. Yeah, that's rough. So my line out of this game at this point is draw the 1 of Pyroblast. Urza Saga will tutor for something. and I weld whatever that is into, but I don't even have that much time because I'm actually just dead way before any of this happens. Yeah, and I can't, if I draw Ensnaring Bridge, I can't cast it. Yeah, we're just dead here. Okay, Archon is a scary one. Noted. I feel like there might have been a line through that match that like if I had perfect information and knew everything, but I don't. Galvanic Blast and Plague Engineer are coming in, of course. I don't think I need Wear Tear. I don't think they're gonna have anything I care about there, like Thorn of Amethyst. Like Elves doesn't even play that card anymore. Pithing Needle could be good, but leaving one in the board for Karn makes some sense. What is not so good? I think I want every combo. Don't care about Graveyard Hate. Don't want to draw 2 opals, probably. Though being explosive matters a lot here. Maybe I don't want Wishclaw Talisman. This is tough. Because, like, Wishclaw Talisman is a win or bust. Crucible of Worlds, there's not going to be time for that. That's an easy one. And would I rather have Ensnaring Bridge in the deck for Goblin Engineer or in the sideboard for Karn? And I think in the deck is the answer. So maybe it's Opal is the last card that I'm going to cut, though that is also a black source for the Plague Engineer, which is an important part of my plan. I don't really love the Pyroblast, but it's not the worst thing that could ever happen either. Like, it requires Painter to be in play to have any text. Alright, I'm off that. So, like we saw last game, Pyroblasting is my only answer to an Archon. And that is still true now. Nothing has changed about that. So maybe I need my plan to just be Dumpster before they can Archon me. Hope for the best there. Okay, here's this. Archon's terrifying. On the draw, I might bring in some answers to it, but on the play, I think I should just be pod racing. This hand is way too slow. There's 2 opals that don't turn themselves on. I can play Welder, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is a mulligan. What is this hand? This is a lot of Welders and Engineers. And only 1 artifact to get them into play, but I think that's enough. Yeah, I'm going to keep this and send one of the Welders to the bottom. So now I have 2 Engineers, so I can curve Welder into Engineer. Either way. Oh, Leyline, sure. Maybe I should have put Wear Tear in my deck. Okay, how does that change everything? I think I lead on Saga now. Yeah, I'll get Saga into play. That at least starts the tutoring. If I were a dedicated Painter player, it would have been on my radar that Elves is going to have Leyline against me. But it wasn't. You have Bayou. Like, I don't really care about discard. Reclaimer. Okay, they're kind of a toolboxy build then. The Hello Newton school of thought. I'm going to play Lion's Eye Diamond to have my construct be bigger when it comes into play. And now that I know they have stuff like Archon in their deck, I want to make sure my artifacts are deployed when I can deploy them. Oh, maybe I should have put Grafdigger's Cage in the deck, because Saga is more likely to happen than Karn, or is that even true? I don't even know if that's true. But I can tutor up Pyrite Spellbomb and buy some time. So they have Cradle, no play. Time to make a bunch of constructs and begin the beats. They have Traders, I like that card. Make another construct. This is my primary plan to win the game right now. I'm attacking. Right there, activating Reclaimer and Response. Okay, they were playing around Pyrite Spell or Grafdigger's Cage there. So I think I want to get Pyrite Spellbomb. Like, it's either that or I could get Grindstone and just swing for the fences, but I think Spellbomb's going to be better. And I can play an artifact land to get an extra damage in for 5. And then I'm going to kill the Dryad Arbor immediately. Don't want to let them untap and have that mana available. That's 2 mana between the Cradle and the Arbor. Alright, so they played a second Arbor, passed the turn, and I drew Karn. So I can Karn, wish for Grafdigger's Cage, and then that stops most of their best cards, and also makes my constructs Bucknormous. Alright, so they're at 15. I'm in for 10 right now. They can clear Karn in combat on the backswing, but I'm not even sure that I care about that. So they're twisting Cradle into another Cradle. Yeah, they're thinning their draws, making their Reclaimer bigger. Glimpse. Alright, it's go time. They have at least 2 mana still in play with Arbor, and they can pick up their Reclaimer to untap Arbor. They are attacking Karn. And yeah, get your combat in before you have to pick up your elf and replay it. That makes sense. Ooh, the third Cradle, that's actually rough. Like I thought we were doing okay, then they had Cradle number 3. Okay, they just jammed Green Sun Zenith Grafdigger's Cage in play. Are we gonna get a shame concession? Nice. I like how they oh, they were going for Grist. I think you are supposed to be able to get Grist. Yeah, you can get Grist through Containment Priest, so I imagine that you can also get it through Grafdigger's Cage. Creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. So that's slightly different. It's not a replacement effect, it's just a block. Like you can't do it. So Containment Priest replacement effect does not apply to Grist entering the battlefield because it will use the properties of the card on the battlefield when the game checks, and then it's a Planeswalker, so you can Zenith for Grist through Priest. I'm not sure if Cage's slightly different wording matters. Alright, so on the draw now, this is where I need to give some respect to scary permanents that might come into play, including Grist. And I mulligan to 2 Mox Opal hand, and on the draw it's not as important to be explosive as it is to have a functional hand. So I don't need all those Opals. And do I want Wishclaw Talisman? I mean, if they're bringing in Graveyard Hate, maybe Salvagers isn't where I want to be. Like, do I want to spend any effort at all Pyroblasting a Leyline of the Void, or do I just want to ignore it? I guess I can shave on Welders if I know they're gonna be doing that, and I'll leave Salvagers. It's still a 2/4. It's still fucking huge. The last question is Grafdigger's Cage better in my deck or in my sideboard? And I am not sure of the answer to that. I guess if they're bringing in Graveyard Hate and slowing down my Welders, it's probably better in the deck. Yeah, though on the draw, Saga's way too slow to really do anything with that. Like, they're going to be doing what they want anyway. Okay, I'm going this way. This hand is weird. Like, 2 Pyroblasts with no Painter. Don't love that. But I do have Saga and Galvanic Blast. And my hand doesn't care about Graveyard Hate, which they don't have this time. This hand's basically going to come down to whether I draw Painter or not, and in what sort of time frame. Okay, so Great Furnace Mox Opal doesn't turn on. Like, Opal's not quite on yet. I could just Galvanic Blast this thing, but then I'll feel pretty bad if they have Collector Oof next turn. Though I think the upside is there to just dumpster this creature. And I'm going to do it off Great Furnace. I'm going to risk the Oof, because turning on Mox Opal and still being able to cast Urza Saga is nice. Alright, my opponent said the Elves Discord has confirmed that Cage is worded differently than Priest, and it does matter. So you cannot get Grist through Cage, but you can get Grist through Priest. I'll have to do some digging to determine the actual rules reason for that. Like I said, Priest is a replacement effect that modifies entering the battlefield, where Cage just says you can't do it at all. So maybe the point where the game checks is already too late, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I can engineer for Painter right now and get the clock ticking on Grindstone and just hope I'm still alive at that point. Okay, here we go. Entomb the Painter. And I'm going to run out my Opal because they've showed me that they have ways to stop that. And even if they natural order for the Archon this turn, I can weld Opal into Painter, paint everything blue, Pyroblast, and we're out of the doghouse. They have a Heritage Druid, 3 cards left in their hand. Of course, if Hoof is lethal, it just doesn't matter. Let's hope they're going for a mini natural order, going for that lock on the Archon that was so good game 1 that I have covered in game 3. As Zenith for 2. Alright, this is a Collector Roof. I don't quite have that covered because 2 of my 3 red sources are artifacts. Like, I can have it covered in 2 turns. Oh god, do they also have natural order? They do. Alright. So, like, if I can get this painter into... Like, if they get Archon here and name artifact... Oh no, they did get Grist. Alright, so they're destroying my engineer by sacking their... Probably Allosaurus Shepherd. Yeah, this is getting bad. Though Goblin Welder still does the thing on the following turn, and Saga can still tutor up Grindstone. Right, so I'm going for the Welder. Alright, this is actually pretty close. They are drawing off the top of their deck right now. If I can get this painter into play and machine gun their permanents, we're doing the thing. Okay, they're hellbent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, they can't quite activate Shepherd. Yeah, they're 1 short of that. Alright. So I'm not taking the extra damage here. Opponent said in the chat, math is hard. I saw them starting to tap things, and I was like, what's the plan here? Okay, so I'm going to float colorless. And then I'm going to tutor up. Probably. Yeah, I'm going to get Grindstone, obviously. So I get Grindstone. And then I weld Mox Opal into... Doesn't matter. I'm going to play my land. Then I'm going to weld. I can't float mana either way, so I could weld... No, it goes the other way. Like, you can activate Grindstone, then weld it into Painter. But you can't activate Painter and weld into Grindstone. Alright, so I'm going to turn Mox Opal into Painter Servant. I'm going to choose blue. And then I'm going to Pyroblast Collector Oof and Grist. And cast Pyrite Spellbomb and destroy Allosaurus Shepherd. That was pretty fucked. That was a good turn. Alright, we got a fade. 1 draw step here. Alright, opponent thinks I could have just won there. Or they're asking if I could have. But I think because... Oh, yeah, you're right. Blasting Grist and then casting and activating the Spellbomb was totally the 3 mana I needed for Grindstone. I had the clean line. Yeah, I was just so excited to just machine gun all the permanents with the Pyroblast that I'd been storing up that I gave them a turn I didn't need to. Yeah, I could have milled them there. But got there anyway. There's no justice in this world. GG's. I'm on the draw in the 4th round, and I have this, like, pretty reasonable it's interactive insofar as it has Pirate Spellbomb, which is my 1 interactive spell. But I'm keeping this. It's a solid Saga hand. Looks like we're playing against some sort of blue deck. Prismatic Vista means they are like blue-white X control or show and tell, and those are the only things that can mean. Ooh, Goblin Welder. I guess the rush to get that card into play is that, like, the question, I was gonna just Saga Chromatic Star here, but getting Welder into play, that slows down Saga, but Saga slows down Welder. So I guess what would I rather do? I think if they're a blue deck, I would rather have Saga in play than Welder. If they're a combo deck, I'd rather have Welder. But I think it's more likely that they're just a blue deck based on just meta share. Like a fair blue deck. So I'm going to lead on this. And here's Chromatic Star. I'd rather lead on that than Pyrite Spellbomb. Drawing more cards seems like something I'm going to want to do more than... obviously I drew the Goblin Engineer, which would have just nut curved any artifact in my deck into play here. But now I can pressure them with constructs while slowly assembling Painter Grindstone behind the scenes. They could just jam Show and Tell here and we lose, but I'm prepared for that possibility. Okay, Uro is not Show and Tell. I'll take it. I'm hoping to help them escape their Uro by putting many cards in their graveyard. End step. Make a construct. And on my turn, I'm going to make another construct. Run a lot of lands here. Had enough of them. So backup construct. And I'm going to get Grindstone. And I'm going to play Welder. I guess I should have attacked for 4 first and see if they wanted to remove that. Spend a plow on the 4/4 instead of the Welder. I guess they just didn't have one. Okay, so they are dead next turn, assuming they have nothing at all. And if they spend effort on Welder, I get to crunch with my constructs, which is a pretty good deal. This basic plains means that Uro's not going to happen this turn. I hate when that happens to me, playing the Bant deck, but I mean, I like that it's happening to them right now. Guess I got to be careful. The Pokimoki Bant has 3 dress downs in the 75, 2 main and 1 on the board. And dress down is a complete nightmare against my deck. So let's see if I end up getting blown out by that or not. White mana's in the pool. Oh, they're ending my Grindstone. Bummer. That's actually really good. Interesting they valued the Grindstone over the Welder. Because I had another one the whole time. Totally didn't just draw that sucker. Okay. Pirate Spellbomb. I'm just going to deploy Spellbomb and Grindstone before combat to make my constructs huge. And I'm going to attack for 10. If they go to 6. And Terminus is a pretty big beating, but I mean I gotta make the play that I have. Which is Goblin Welder. Putting Painter into the graveyard. Alright, there's Painter. Let's go. Oh, they had Terminus the whole time. I probably could have played around that in a better way. So I can weld in response. Like, I could weld Construct into Painter, but then Painter's not in my graveyard. And I guess the question is, would I rather have Painter in the graveyard or in my deck after Terminus? Which is, like, pretty close. Could I have... How much better could I have done? Like, with the Welder active immediately, I guess I could have put Wishclaw Talisman in the graveyard and just plan for Terminus, turn our Construct into something that's not going to disappear instantly. Alright, I'm going to switch these and put Painter back in my deck so I can have more chances to draw it. I'm just going to name Black for a second. I just want to make sure I don't get, like, Hydroblasted on the way out. Okay. Painter on the bottom. I definitely could have done that better. Like, I could have planned for... But, I don't know. Do I plan for Terminus in that spot? Or do I just... Yeah, maybe I just don't play the Welder. Just make them answer the board full of constructs before I mess around with anything else. So now they get Uro. But I gotta rip a Painter. Okay. They don't want Uro. They want to remove Grindstone. That's fair. Abundant Harvest for a Teferi. So Karn's a good draw here. Always say the name. Got that Walter White energy. Say my name. Play Karn. Pretty sure there's a Tormod's Crypt in the graveyard. I hope so, because that's what I'm going for. Alright. I'm going to get Tormod's Crypt now, because that gets rid of Uro, which is what I'm actually worried about at this particular moment. Yeah, just clear that out. And then next turn I can start making decisions with Karn. Like, I could just Lattice next turn if they don't do anything else. Pondering, desperately looking for Force of Will at this point. They chose to shuffle. What I want to see. My fetch lands don't do anything. Like, there's no Brainstorm in the deck. So thinning out the deck is worth doing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can just jam the Lattice. If I do that, what happens? If they counter it, I can weld it back in a couple turns from now. So there is, like, a line here. There's also one fetchable land left in my deck. It's this one. And then I'm just doing it. Let's go. Mycosynth Lattice. They didn't have a counterspell last turn. They shuffled a Ponder. On the stack. Force pitching to Fairy. Okay. Cool. So now I have Welder, re-weld Lattice in a future turn. Shit, no I don't. I have nothing. Okay, so my graveyard's gone. Karn's dead. I have Welder and Pirate Spellbomb and Chromatic Star to figure this game out with. They are at 4, though. And losing to Fairy was nice. There's a brief hesitation with their attack of, like, can I just clock them through Ancient Tomb, or do I have to kill this Karn? I think they made the right call. Ooh. Now we're cooking. So I get to double Welder here. I'm gonna entomb a... What is actually the best card? Probably Painter? No, there's so many Grindstones exiled right now. I actually need to draw Karn if I want a Grindstone, so that's not helpful at all. Ensnaring Bridge could buy time, but do I need time or do I need to win this game? I think... I definitely don't entomb the Lattice, that doesn't make any sense. I can entomb a second Chromatic Star and just tap Goblin Welder to draw 2 cards, or draw a card for the rest of the game. Like, that's a thing I can do. Nile Spellbomb draws... I think I just want to put the Painter in. Be ready. There's 2 Welders. I could Wish Gigantha into my hand, and then cast her next turn. I go to 5, then to 2. And then I can't cast my thing anymore. So with them at 4 life, beating me down with a 3/3, I actually do want this. Keep the pressure on. Uh-oh. Second Endurance is rough. Makes the clock a whole lot shorter. And I'm required to block one of them. Right, I'm going to block with Engineer, which is the worst Welder. I go to 3. I can tap Ancient Tomb once, but I better win the game when I do. So, sack this for... Whoa. Slow the fuck down. They're dead. I have them dead. I almost just, like, missed lethal. Okay. I found the line. Stop screaming at your monitor. I got there. Shh. It's okay. Did my best not to win that one, though. Okay, so they're a blue deck anyway. I like Pyroblast. They could have Back to Basics. So Wear Tear seems pretty good. They could have Stony Silence, Null Rod, all those sort of things. They could have Dress Down, which is rough also. I think these 3 things come in. Ensnaring Bridge doesn't seem like the worst. This is not a matchup I need all 4 Opals in. The Graveyard hate is strong with them, with the Endurances and everything. I like my Nile Spellbomb in the main. Crucible is fine. Maybe I want to leave Crucible in the sideboard to get with Karn if that becomes relevant. Or is Ensnaring Bridge the one that needs to be relevant? Yeah, maybe it's just Bridge, and then I have Crucible in here. Yeah, if I can start Crucibling some Sagas around and around, that's good stuff. It could also just, like, be a burn deck. What happened last game that they took so much damage so early? Oh, I had an early Saga. That's why their life total was so low. So, like, Galvanic Blast, I could just get rid of some of my graveyard stuff and bring in some burn spells and try to close. Just be an aggro deck. Yeah, if they have all these Endurances, maybe Engineer isn't the best thing. And maybe I could pitch Crucible. No, Crucible's so good. Like, if they have Rest in Peace, but they're an Uro deck, so I doubt that's going to happen. Galvanic Blast can also kill Endurance, which gives me a lot of... There's a lot of relevant text on that one. I don't want to cut the Salvagers, because it's just so dumb. Just that one of Salvagers has won so many games already. Maybe it's one of each Welder. I bring in Galvanic Blast. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Classic BoshNRoll. Going to draw extra cards when I have lethal on board. It's like, I'd rather draw cards than win the game. This hand's a mulligan. This one's fine. I'll keep this and send Bloodstained Mire to the bottom. Or is it Basic Mountain? It's probably Basic Mountain. I'm already pretty exposed to Back to Basics. Like, fetching 1 Basic Mountain's not going to be the difference. And what do I want to do here? Probably just fetch land, go. Yeah, I'll just pass with that. They're holding up mana, I'm holding up mana. I don't think they have Stifle. There is Salvagers and Wishclaw Talisman in the deck. I have a Badlands in the hand already, and Mox Opals ready. Okay, what can I do here? Goblin Engineer for Painter Servant, I think is the play. So Engineer resolved. Put Painter in the graveyard. I have this explosion of mana that they can't see right now. I don't think it's going to matter. Like, they clearly have a bunch of removal in their deck at this point. Or they had removal in before. Now they have more stuff. Sylvan Library. Now's my chance to sneak Karn in. Alright, let's go for it. Here's Karn. Do you have Force of Will? Nope. Alright, so I'm gonna wish for the Tormod's Crypt, or maybe it's Lion's Eye Diamond, actually. Is it Crypt or Diamond? I guess it's probably Diamond. Yeah, so I'm gonna get Diamond, play Opal, play Grindstone. I just needed a 0 to turn on Mox Opal for the turn. I guess maybe I don't play Grindstone because they've shown me prismatic endings. But if they ending Grindstone, then they don't ending LED, and LED casts Lattice. So, yeah, let's just pile it on. I think I probably should have held back that Grindstone, honestly. But we're here now. Let's make it happen. They kept 1 extra card off Sylvan Library. Moment of Truth. Do they have the Collector Roof, the Null Rod, the Stony Silence, whatever it is they have? And I can't actually go for Lattice here, because if they flash an Endurance in response to Lattice, they can just attack Karn, and then they're out of the Lattice, which doesn't actually solve any of my problems. So I can wish for Painter. Yeah, I mean, that sounds fine. Make them have it, right? Painter Servant. Urza Saga. Here's Painter. Right, they got effects. Brutal. They had the dress down. That's so fucked. Alright, so Painter's going to come into play, and I don't get to name a color. And then at the end of the turn, dress down will die, and Painter will just be in play without a color. And I can't even cast this Engineer, because that is also turned off by dress down. I mean, I can put it into play, but I don't get the tutor, which is the important part. Actually, that's not even true. I should have just played this thing. The important part is putting Painter Servant into play next turn. Whoops, blew it. Alright, I have a long-term line here of starting to Saga, but this is clearly looking like Pokemoki's list. The saddest 1/3 Painter Servant. This looks like an ending. Yeah, they take my Grindstone. That's fine. Karn can wish for cards in exile as well as outside of the game, so that Grindstone is just on notice. See you soon, Grindstone. Okay, I'm not going to attack because their deck has Endurance in it. I'm gonna play... Alright. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I can play Gigantha and still make a construct. That's pretty sick. Alright, Terminus or Bust. Let's go. And plus target nothing. I'm not going to play the Engineer into Terminus. Not going to attack into Endurance. Not falling for it. Yeah, Engineer is a lot softer to Graveyard Hate than Welder is, because with Welder, you pick 2 targets to switch. And if both parts of a switch aren't in play when... Ooh, they bomb themselves. That's interesting. And if both parts of a switch are not in play when the switch resolves, nothing gets switched. But Goblin Engineer is sack a thing, return target artifact. So sacking is a cost. So like getting Endurance in response to Welder, just nothing happens. Everything stays where it is. Getting Endurance in response to Engineer, I end up losing the artifact in play and the graveyard. For 0, I have so many 0s in play. I think they know that. Alright, well, I will demand that they use this now. I think that attack was a little aggressive. I guess they have to pressure Karn. But now I get to end up with a construct when the dust settles, when they didn't have to let me do that. Or they can just put their Endurance in the graveyard and take the L. Or they could dress down. All viable things. Hardcast Force of Vigor. Okay, that's good. I'm going to block Endurance, keep Karn around for a minute. That Explosives is on 0. I have Lion's Eye Diamond in play. Alright, are they going to pop it now? They realize that I'm about to Karn out. Oh, nope, that's not what happened. They have Ponder and Basic Plains. So that Ponder is a blue card. Let's see what Karn can do right now. I can get Ensnaring Bridge, empty my hand, and make them come up with an answer. But I lose Karn if I do any of those things. It's just straight up gone, which I'm not excited about. I'm not excited about them getting another turn to Sylvan Library plus Ponder either. So I could also just set up a combo. Right, is there a Grindstone left in my deck? Yes, there's a Grindstone left in my deck for Urza Saga to get. So I can play Urza Saga, play Goblin Engineer, which can put a... What's the best thing to get here? Assuming everything's going to go my way and they have no graveyard hate, what do I want? It's not Grindstone. I want that in the deck. There's 2 painters there already. It's probably Crucible. Yeah, I'll get Crucible. And then I will... Oh. I can just blow up their engineered explosives. Yeah, that's the play. Okay, okay. They messed that up. So there's that. And now I have... I can let Karn die or I can chump with Engineer. And I think letting Karn die and then looping Sagas with Crucible is going to be worth so much more than Karn at this point. So they have a lot more removal for Goblin Engineer than they do for Karn. But they could have removed both if they had removal. Alright, I'm going to let Karn die. Moment of truth. Place my bets on Urza Saga right now. There's their Ponder. If they had pondered pre-combat, they might have been able to find a removal spell and just guarantee that Karn dies rather than give me the choice in the matter. They didn't shuffle, so they did find an answer. Okay. Harsh. I placed your bets. There's a Saga. So my constructs are 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 4/4s. Alright, they're bigger than Endurance, which is all that matters. And they'll be 6/6s when they attack on my next turn. Or one of them will attack next turn and then another one after that. And this Pyroblast is not a bad card to have in the settled dust here. If they have like Jace or Teferi as their last card, that's actually insane. 4/4 construct. Drawing Welder, not mad about that. I'm at 17. I think I can use Ancient Tomb for this. Oh, 5/5 construct. Oh, are we getting dressed down? That would be a great thing to have Pyroblast for. Nope, they were just fetching to play around Pithing Needle. That makes sense. So do I even get the Grindstone? I guess I'm holding Welder now, but Terminus is a blowout. I could just, like, get Pyrite Spellbomb and force a block right now, but that doesn't really help if their top card, if their card is Terminus. But they don't know what their top card is. They just shuffled. So, oh, this is so hard. This deck is so hard to play. Wow. I think I do want the Pyrite Spellbomb. Okay, so this is a forced block now off of Endurance. Nope. Not in my house. They were so excited to have that card. Bang. So forced block. I'm not playing the Welder because Terminus is their out anyway. I played Dress Down in a paper tournament recently, and the metagame was not caught up to the current Magic Online metagame, let me tell you. Those locals, Dress Down was not good against them because they were still playing old Magic from the before times. All right, here comes my creatures. Do you have Dress Down? Do you have Terminus? Ice Fang Coatl. Okay, you're still dead to that. Did they find Coatl and Plow? Wow, good stuff. Maybe I should have Spellbombed the Coatl. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know if that matters. Okay, here's this. Do I want to draw a card with Spellbomb? I think I probably should do that at this point. Draw a card. Oh, yeah. There we go. Terminus or bust. Now I have... I guess I don't have a Grindstone, but I have Crucible, which will play a Saga immediately. They packed it up. Ground him out. Beat the Bant deck. That's a good deck to be able to beat in the current Legacy metagame. Let's go on to the final round. I'm on the play in the final round, playing for 4-1, and I have a hand that has Saga and basically nothing else. I'm going to keep it. This is where we just hope they're not a Wasteland deck. So here's my Saga. I'm going to run out the Opal as well, in case they're a discard deck, because I don't care about the rest of the cards in my hand because they're all bad. That's the perfect way to play around discard. I'm in trouble if they're a Wasteland deck, but if this Saga gets to even Chapter 2, I think we've got a plan, because the Chapter 2 will put an artifact into play for Opal that starts to get us closer. Oh, great. Or we're just dead to Doomsday. That's cool too. Okay, getting turn 1 Doomsdayed here. You love to see it. I don't know how we win this matchup. If they have anything resembling a reasonable hand, this deck basically has no play. No counterplay for Doomsday. Yeah, I think all I can really do is come out blasting and hope they don't have it. That would have been a good card to have last turn instead of this turn. So, does anything change? Like, I could play Chromatic Star, flip into Talisman, see what happens. Alright, I am going to flip my Star into Talisman, giving up on the Construct Beatdown, because I don't think I'm getting another turn anyway. So here's Wishclaw. If there's a way through this game, searching my deck for it is probably the answer. Though I don't think I'm getting a turn. There's Lion's Eye Diamond, fetching, Baleful Strix. Yep, draw a card. It's Thassa's Oracle. I have no interaction for that. GG. Okay. I mean, if I had that pile they made, if I had my fun of one of Pyroblast, and I still don't have any red, so alright. Didn't matter. What do I do against Doomsday? So, Pyroblast comes in. That is a point of interaction. Pithing Needle. I can name Street Wraith and Edge of Autumn to keep them from cycling, so that could be something. Wear Tear, I don't think helps me. Galvanic Blast, like if I can put damage on the board, Galvanic Blast can get over the finish line when they cast the Doomsday. But the only way I really have to do damage is Saga, which is really slow against Doomsday. And Snaring Bridge is definitely coming out. Crucible is definitely coming out. All of the fast mana has to stay in. They don't really care about their graveyard. Pyrite Spellbomb, I guess, could deal a surprise 2 damage. It's at least a cantrip. So I think I want the 2 Pyroblasts and a Galvanic Blast. Not really because I want it, just because it's there. Yeah, I think I just need to turbo out my combo and cross my fingers. Okay, that's the play. This is not the hand I'm looking for to beat Doomsday with. This doesn't do anything. This one comes out pretty quick, but like it has a lot of mana, but none of it is red. I'm 1 artifact short of turning on this opal, which unlocks the hand. Okay. I guess I'll keep this. I'm gonna send Needle, and like I need these. These are my chance to win the game. I guess it's City. And Needle and City to the bottom. Feels bad. Anyway, here's Badlands and Lion's Eye Diamond. And I am going to play the Diamond out because they're a discard deck. Badlands, Diamond. Ship it. Maybe they'll just turn 1 Dumpster again. And lose to Pyroblast again. But this time I actually have it. Doesn't look like that's the plan this game. Ancient Tomb. Pass. I need a Chromatic Star to get my Salvagers into play. Like, I have no white source to start this party. A fetch land, I guess, also does it. Spellbomb, huh? Alright. I'm going to Spellbomb and draw a card. All right away. Spellbomb is the win condition with the Salvager combo, if we can get there. Alright, here we go. Paint it blue. I can counter a Doomsday now, but they can pitch anything to Force of Will. Brainstorming in response, go for it. I'm not going to Pyroblast that. Force pitching Daze. I will Pyroblast that. This just gives me a giant live out to win the game. They had Daze. So do I want to chuck my Salvagers to get Painter into play? Is that the game I think I'm going to win? I don't think so. So, no. They can win this fight over Painter because a white source, like a fetch land, wins this game now, where if I sack my LED, that's no longer true. They fetch Bayou in their upkeep. They have 3 black now if they want to Doomsday. I'm duress proof right now. They bottom both their preordained cards. Come on, white source. Let's go. Wishclaw Talisman. Okay. Interesting. So here's Talisman. Can I wish for a white source right now? I think I have to pass the turn. Yeah, that's not how this works. Okay, I'm going to pass with Talisman in play. Another Brainstorm. That's looking pretty good. They're doing a lot of cantripping over there. I don't like it. I did all that work to get their hand ugly and empty. Another talisman. All right, so when I activate talisman, I have to win the game, which is the trick here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can wish for just like plateau. And I think that's worth doing. I could play around days and still win this game. Is there a better card to get than plateau? Or is that just the easiest one? Because Mox Opal, I don't have the... Yeah, so... Has this ever been done in a game of Magic before? Activate Wishclaw Talisman to get plateau. We're breaking new ground over here. Alright, who's winning this game? Is it me or you? Alright, the first one resolved. Alright, they appear to be F6'd. I mean, they are dead on the board. Like, I have the spell bomb right there, so I will edit out this clicking and check back in with you when I've won this game. Opponent knows what's up. They're a combo player. They generously just checked, like, this goes infinite with Pyrite. Yes, concede. Cool. Thank you, opponent. Class act. Alright, that one of fun of Salvager is still doing work. Yeah, this sideboard plan still makes sense. Just maximum combos. I can't really disrupt them, so I have to just go faster than them. And that is the plan. I'll continue doing it. I have another 7 that's incapable of making red mana. This has been a problem with this list. I would probably fix those numbers if I were to develop this more. I'm keeping this, though. This is the speed racer hand. I can Painter on 1. So they have days. I'm probably not going to just jam Painter Servant on 1, as much as I'd like to. Or are they going to jam on 1? Okay, so they get to take my Wishclaw Talisman or my Opal, depending on what their hand looks like. They took the Talisman. Right, so they are a days deck. How much do I want to respect that? How much can I respect that, I guess is the question. And I think I want to give it its due respect. I'm just going to pass the turn, play around days. If they combo me out, okay, but if I lose to days, that hurts me way more than if I were to just get comboed out fair and square. Uh-oh. It's time. Doomsday resolved. I think the best thing I can do is draw Pyroblast and hope that it does anything. So, Chromatic Star. Make red. Alright, that didn't do what I needed to. It didn't do anything at all, actually. So I guess I'll Entomb a Grindstone. I mean, we're dead. I just have to pretend there's going to be another turn. Yep, Ideas Unbound. Street Wraith. Lotus Petal, land, GG. Yep, there it is, the Cavern. Yeah, the Pyroblast could have blasted Ideas Unbound, saved me a turn. Yeah, this matchup just seems close to unwinnable. Unless I just full dumpster them, but they have a faster dumpster than I do. I guess it's technically not true. Like, the full nut draw is like cheating and stacking my hand. I have an actual turn 1, and they can just set up a turn 1 for turn 2. Though maybe they can turn 1. It always surprises me what Doomsday's capable of. Okay. So we lost a horrendous matchup to... We kept our positive record, 3-2 with this deck. Red mana turned out to be a problem. Which doesn't really surprise me in retrospect. I played a lot of mono red painter probably like 8 years ago. Like there was a period where I was just really into that deck. I actually played it at Eternal Weekend one year. And that deck sometimes has problem with red mana. And that's a mono red deck. So adding black and white cards to this deck, I can see how that would become a problem. But outside of that, Urza Saga is a banger, obviously. We had some really cool games. You can see what this deck is trying to do. And the games where you're like, you need to answer my pair of 6/6s, but also I'm comboing you out. Like, that's the sort of shit that is really cool. And I think my opponent conceded before we got to it, but there was that game where it's like, they answered my combo, then they had to pivot to answer my 6/6s, and then I had stuck a welder with Crucible of Worlds that was about to start making more 6/6s. So that was actually... We had one match against Bant where we got to flex all of the muscles and change plans a few times, and that's pretty sick. This somehow felt like a weaker Karn deck than normal. Like, normally Karn just feels like the game ends when you cast him, and we had him in play a few times where it was just, like, pretty good. And that's probably more likely just a function of what those specific game states looked like in this small sample size of 5 matches, rather than like the macro level. This isn't a good Karn deck, because obviously this is a great Karn deck, but just from my 5 matches now, it felt like kind of softer than average. So that I don't know what to do with that information, but if you play the deck, just keep an eye on that and let me know how that goes. And it's cool that you can play so few grindstones because you have Saga that can get them. The 8 Welders are pretty cool. The Graftiker's Cage Welder non-bow, it came up once, like, but it's not a non-bow with Engineer, it is a non-bow with Welder, so just keep an eye on that in the matchups where it matters. I am not convinced that Wishclaw Talisman is worth the stretch to your mana. I think Auriok Salvagers carried its weight. For a one of in the deck that I can't tutor for, it won 3 or 4 games in this league by itself. So that's pretty impressive. Like, maybe you just want to be red-white and have 2 Salvagers instead of any Wishclaw Talismans. That feels better. Like, what could you do with that? Like, cut the 2 Wishclaw Talismans, turn your Badlands into Plateaus, and then you get a 2nd Salvagers and a 4th Karn. Like, that's a thing you could do. All of that is pretty cool. So that is where I would start working on this deck with. I think the black was medium minus and the white was medium plus. And because we're white anyway, we could be playing like prismatic endings in the sideboard. This list as it is pretty soft to Chalice of the Void. It's pretty soft to Null Rod, Collector Oof. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that prismatic ending would open up for us. And we have Mox Opal, so getting an extra color and Chromatic Star, like, ending for 3 or 4 is perfectly reasonable in a 2-color deck because we have those cards. So that's probably where I would be playing around with this. But this was fun. I always love Welder decks. I always love Bomberman decks, and this is both of them at the same time. And thank you, Undyne, for sharing this with me. Everyone else, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. Check out the Patreon, check out YouTube memberships, hit the subscribe and join buttons underneath the video, and like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.